Welcome to Courageous Overcomers. I'm your host, Tanya Shellnut. Well, thank you for being with us this week. Again, if you have been listening in, we have a common theme for the month of May, and it's all about gardening. You can go back and listen to our Mother's Day episode where I talk about our family tradition of going out and buying plants. We have a very small garden. It's a a raised garden beds. So it's nothing huge. This week, we're going to talk about the weeds that we leave behind. Last week, we talked about being rooted. This week, we're going to talk about the weeds. And so I hate weeds. I'm going to tell you why I hate weeds, and I'm going to tell you why I hate weeding. So growing up, one of the many punishments that I had when I would get in trouble was weeding. And my mom had a garden and my aunt had a garden. So if I got done weeding my mom's garden and my aunt's garden needed to be weeded, she had like 100 acres and I'd have to go weed it. Just joking. It wasn't really 100 acres, but it was a lot. And we know that in a garden, not everything green is healthy. We also know that weeds grow fast. So for me, when I would get in trouble, which was weekly, I wouldn't ever really get to change jobs because the weeds were always there and they would take over and they grow fast. And if they're left alone, they choke out everything you're trying so hard to plant. So granted, my little, raised beds don't have very many weeds, but they still have weeds and I don't like weeding. So just like that, in healing, some things have to go. So we're going to talk about that this week and getting rid of the things that need to go. So some of them are not always obvious though, and they steal energy, space, and light from what is meant to flourish. So weeds don't ask permission. They just take up space. And if you don't deal with them, they'll deal with you. So this episode is about the courage to recognize and uproot what doesn't belong in this new season. So the first point we're going to talk about is naming the weeds. You can't pull what you won't name. So let's talk about some examples of emotional and spiritual weeds. Bitterness that pretends to be boundaries. Shame that whispers you're still that same girl. Addiction behaviors disguised as a stress relief. We can all relate to this. I talk a lot about my addiction to food. I love food. Relationships that feel familiar but keep you stuck. Comparison that poisons your joy. If only I looked like them. Cynicism dressed up as just being realistic. How about this one? The victim mindset that sneaks in and says, why try? This happened to me. I'm going to have to be like this forever. But the real question is, what's stealing energy from the things that you're trying to grow? We got to identify those things. In the first week of May, the second week of May, I talked about the Bloom book. I gave you guys a template to identify some of this. And then last week we talked about the 5-day healing challenge. And so you can go and identify some of these things that are stealing energy from you. I'll tell you more how to get that in a minute. But let's talk about uprooting what's unfamiliar and unfruitful. So some weeds feel comforting, right? There are some weeds that are pretty, but they choke everything out. You've used them to cope, to numb, to stay safe, and now they're just cluttering your soil. So what helped you survive may now be what's keeping you from growing. And that is the painful but freeing work of spiritual weeding. So we want to forgive what you keep rehearsing in your mind. You need to release what keeps draining you. And you've got to cut off what keeps you from being planted in peace. You got to get rid of some of those, quote, pretty weeds. So here's a scripture verse for you. Every plant, I think this is such a great verse. So this is Matthew 15:13. Every plant that my heavenly Father has not planted will be pulled up by the roots. Ooh, that's good stuff. So that moves us into point 3, and that's to make room for what matters. Because when you clear out what's healthy, then you make space for what's holy and truth. And God can't grow new fruit in a garden that's overcrowded. And sometimes the most spiritual thing you can do is cut back. So, eliminating a weed isn't a loss, it's a gift to the thing that you want to grow. So, we want to encourage you to do one thing this week, one thing you need to weed out practically, spiritually, relationally. Maybe it's you say yes to everything and you have no time for anything. And I think this is an important thing. We've all become so busy that we don't have time to strengthen our relationships. I was recently at a shower, a wedding shower, and one of the games, or not games, but one of the assignments, if you will, to the attendees was to write out a suggestion for a date night. And I was listening to everybody talking about this and listening to the conversation. And there were people that were in the room that had been married, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20, 30 years. So you had the whole gamut. And some of the people couldn't think of anything for a date night suggestion. And they were commenting on how their husbands had never taken them on a date, or it had been years. And it broke my heart. I was like, wait, what? Are you for real right now? And it goes back to the whole point of making room for what matters, because it's easy to fill your life up with busyness and work, but you're missing out on opportunity for relationship, because at the end of the day, all you have is your relationships. When you die, your hearse full of all your stuff isn't going with you. It's the relationships. And so I want to encourage you this week. And I know we're talking about healing and things of that nature, but this is also very important. Deepening relationships and strengthening relationships. So weed out something, whatever it is. Maybe you need to take time from social media and, go take your husband on a date. Go ask him and say, hey, let's go on a date. It's just really about being intentional. And this is not marriage advice, but I'm going to go here. I was listening to one of the attendees talk about one of their date night suggestions, and it was actually super fun, and I'm going to share it with you. It was they cleared the room, and their husband did this for them, by the way. Okay, they cleared out the room and they created a quote dance floor and turned on a video and learned a new dance. I thought, how fun would that be? I'm not sure I could get Rich to do it, but I might try it because it would be really fun. But anyway, totally a side note, but come here for marriage advice too. LOL. Just joking. Okay. So the challenge this week is to take 5 minutes every morning and ask yourself, what's trying to steal my peace today? What's draining my energy or clouding my focus? What lie am I still letting grow? I'll give you an example on that one. You're not good enough. You're not smart enough. You're not doing enough. You're not enough. You're not enough. You're not enough. I know a lot of women that struggle with that. I still struggle with it. And that's just not true. It is not helpful to be telling yourself that. It's not helpful for me to tell myself that. So I need to pull it out of the garden. I need to not water it. I need to not coddle it. I need to let it go. And I want to encourage you to do the same thing, because it's not helpful to anybody here to continue to feed the weed. It's just not helpful. So God is not just planting new things in you. He's clearing out the old. So again, what are some of the old things that need to be cleared out? How do you need to do it? Go back and download. This was what I was going to tell you about, is get that free copy of the 5-day Heal and Cleanse workbook. You go to tanyashellnut.com, enter your email address, and it'll be sent to you. And it goes through 5 things to help you work through. And it's something that you can use over and over again. It's not just a one-time thing. It's something you can use over and over. And so I want to close with this. It's a closing verse. And this is a very short episode this week, but my daughter is getting married. So I don't have a ton of time. And so we're going to wrap this up and make it short. But the verse this week is John 15:16. And it says this: "You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you so that you might go and bear fruit that will last." I hope everyone has a great week, and I hope you will work on some of these exercises and find out what needs to be weeded out. Go like and share Courageous Overcomers podcast. Give us a 5-star review. And also, the other thing that I'm looking for too is I'm looking for some more people to interview. This month, I didn't do a lot of interviews because I have a lot of travel planned. And so I had to do a lot of pre-recording. So if you know of anybody that is a courageous overcomer and that we need to highlight, please send them my way or email me their name and I will get in touch with them. Everyone have a great week.
Thank you for joining us here on Courageous Overcomers with Tanya Shellnut. Please remember to follow, like, and share this podcast. To find out more about Tanya, go to her website at tanyashellnut.com. Or to ask a question about anything you've heard on today's show, leave us a 5-star review and your message. Or email at tanya@tanyashellnut.com. Remember, that's SHELLNUTT. This podcast is produced by Bob Sloan Audio Productions.